ago, Rick Ankiel decided to become an outfielder. Now the day has come as Rip Rowan works on his major league jersey. Number 24 from 66 is back in the major leagues. Raw power, he's got that. 32 home runs in Memphis, and now he gets the call up to the majors. Rick Ankiel in the lineup tonight, hitting in front of Albert Pujols. What can he expect in his return to the major leagues?
Just want to come here and help the team win. Feel like I've had a good year. I feel like I've made some improvements, and just want to come here and learn how to adjust to the big league hitters, and you know, just make my adjustments like big league hitters do.
When he was in the big leagues the first time, it was sold-out crowds, and that will be the case once again tonight. Very special night. Rick Ankiel back in the majors. Padres and Cardinals in Game 4 of this series. That's my partner, Al Rabosky. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to the broadcast booth. When he decided to do this, a lot of people thought there's no way he could make it back to the major leagues. He has done it. It's going to be a special night.
Well, it really is. And I know the Cardinals were concerned, and they thought he still had the zombies in his head about pitching and his control. But I don't think anybody thought he was going to give up pitching. And then they convinced him, hey, why not give it a shot? You're a good hitting pitcher. Why don't you see if you can play the outfield? Well, he's made that adjustment in 3 years. He missed all of last year with knee surgery, but he had the most home runs, 32 in the PCL. And maybe is more impressive is the 89 RBIs that he had. That was second only to 90 RBIs by another AAA player. But Rick Ankiel is worked hard to get to where he is, and it's a great comeback story.
And he is in the lineup tonight. Now, when we come back, we'll talk about two great closers in the game of baseball. Trevor Hoffman signing autographs after the game last night. All-time saves leader. The man that picked up the save in Game 3, Jason Isringhausen. Closer look when we come back.
Bases on the FSN Baseball Report, Friday on FSN Midwest.
Back in St. Louis, nice to have you with us here on FSN Midwest. The Cardinals trying to make it 3 of 4 over the Padres. Well, what about the closers for these two teams? Jason Isringhausen and Trevor Hoffman are Ford Key, the save since 2003, and Isringhausen is third on that list. Trevor Hoffman at 4, Mariano Rivera number 1, Billy Wagner of the Mets number 2, and bottom line, we're talking about two of the best in baseball, Al.
That's right. Jason's trying to get to 300, but this is the all-time saves leader. You look at Tuesday at 330, scorching heat, but he's out there running long distance. And then last night, he has not pitched in the first 3 games of this series. So after the game, he went out and he long tossed. One of the rare times I've ever seen that. I've seen a lot of times guys will do it the next day, but not after a game they don't pitch.
Coming up, it's a look around the major leagues. Stay with us here on FSN Midwest. Baseball Tonight is brought to you by Budweiser, the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Open up a world of taste. By Auto Tire, the tire pros. For the lowest bottom line price, you ought to go to Auto Tire. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Very special night as Rick Ankiel has returned to the major leagues, and he is playing right field. As Tony indicated, he'll play right, he'll play center, and at some point we'll probably see him in left. Such a good athlete would be able to make that adjustment. The first pitch is a strike. Our Rico starter is Joel Pinero.
Joel's making his second start. Everything was fine the first 3 innings, then it kind of caved in as he made that start in Washington, D.C. He's trying to stretch out after 31 games, all relief appearances for Boston. I couldn't believe all the media attention for Pinero's first home start.
Not bad, huh?
No, I mean, there was a ton of people in there. The vultures were in the clubhouse looking for Joel.
The 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt to Scott Hairston. First start in the series. 1 for 3 with a couple of RBIs. Triple the other night. It's 93 degrees our game time temperature.
Scott Hairston, one of 3 big league players that on the same high school team with Chris Duncan.
Nice feature done by Joel on the pregame show, sitting down those two.
Wouldn't divulge any dirt on each other. Very careful.
Shelley Duncan went to that same high school, now with the Yankees. Count of 1 ball and 2 strikes.
He wants it on the ground, bounce it.
Hairston hits it in the air out to left center field. Edmonds in front of the Bud Light sign will put it away. Take a look at the lineup for San Diego. Cardinals trying to take 3 of 4 tonight. It's a lineup that Pinero will face. Hairston, Blum, and Mike Cameron here in the first inning. Adrian Gonzalez, then Morgan Ensberg, Rob Makoviak, Josh Bard, the catcher, Marcus Giles, the second baseman, and Chris Young, the pitcher, who has been terrific this year for San Diego. You could say that pretty much about their entire staff. ERA-wise, the best staff in baseball.
Of course, their offense is really down in batting average, so they're built around pitching and defense.
Ankiel on the move, and he'll make the catch.
There's an indication of the reception he'll get.
The defense behind the pitcher tonight, Pinero. Saturday in their loss to the Nationals, 7 hits in 5 innings. Duncan, Edmonds, Ankiel in the outfield. Roland, Eckstein, Kennedy, and Pujols on the infield, and Yadier Molina is back behind the plate. Well, you know he's got one of the strongest arms in baseball, undoubtedly. And according to the people that have seen him play on a daily basis, he gets very good jumps. And despite the surgery on his knee, they say he runs as well as anybody in the Cardinals organization.
And had one of the Cardinal coaches tell me in spring training he was the best athlete in camp. Made the decision to stop pitching 3 years ago. He had some numerous injuries, that first spring when he made the conversion. His back, said his back wasn't conditioned to swing the bat, so he was on a couple stints on the disabled list. He started at Double-A and really played most of it at A-ball. And then last year he missed the entire season with knee surgery. That's why whenever you heard Tony or the Cardinal management talk about he needed to get as many at bats as possible, they were really thinking of him as a hitter. Unless you were going to give him 4 at bats a night, he was better off to swing the bat down there.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Mike Cameron. But his story, the Rick Ankiel story, is just remarkable. That he is here in the major leagues, and like we talked about during the Open, many people around baseball thought, man, what a waste of talent, because he's such a great pitcher. And the fact is, he can't get it together on the mound, and this is a pipe dream. This won't happen. And here he is in the major leagues, and with 32 home runs this year in the minor leagues. On the outside corner, and a strikeout of Cameron. What will the reception be like for Rick Ankiel? What will this night be like? He's coming up as we go to the bottom of the first.
I'm sure it's going to be awesome, but
Rick Ankiel will bat second in this lineup in front of Albert Pujols. One of the best positions in all of baseball to be situated in front of Albert. 87 major league at bats, a couple of home runs, and 9 RBIs as a pitcher for Rick Ankiel. Eckstein will lead it off, and then we'll see Ankiel and Pujols. Edmonds, Roland, Duncan, Molina, Pinero, the pitcher, batting 8th once again, and Adam Kennedy batting 9th. Advanced Auto Parts starter, one of the best right now in the National League, and that's Chris Young.
Well, he's got the best ERA in the major leagues. He's virtually unhittable on the road. He is, in his career, he's 18-4 on the road. And left-handers 212 average, right-handers 156. So 6'10". Boy, what a trade that the Padres made with Texas Rangers to get Chris Young and others.
2 balls and no strikes.
Just coming off the disabled list, so we'll see how he pitched only a couple innings the other day and went on the disabled list with an oblique muscle strain. And then they released David Wells or put him on waivers to activate Chris Young.
3-0 on Eckstein with Ankiel on deck. Ball 4.
Batting second, number 24, right fielder Rick Ankiel.
First pitch to him. That's 5 straight balls.
Pretty impressive, huh?
It's great. What a neat moment. What is going through his mind right now? His heart has got to just be racing, nervous again. Back in the major leagues, the 1-0 pitch to Ankiel is popped up. First at bat, he pops it up to short, handled by Blum for the first out.
I remember when Larry Walker came here for the first time. He was just blown away by the reception. He struck out. Matter of fact, I think the first 2 times he struck out. But one thing, Rick's going to swing it. He's not going to walk, and he's going to let it fly.
As Tony said, he is here to play. He will play tonight. He'll start tomorrow. He'll start again Saturday.
Yeah, how about the pitchers he's got to face?
Yeah, I saw that. It's going to be tough.
You got Brad Penny tomorrow. He's got a 13-game winner. Derek Lowe, one of the best, pitchers in the league, and former Cy Young Award winner. You got Chris Young, a candidate for the Cy Young and the major league leader, ERA leader right now. So not easy.
We talked about the trade that San Diego made to get Young. They also, in that deal, picked up Adrian Gonzalez and Termel Sledge. All 3 of these players helping the major league club. And Adam Eaton was the centerpiece going the other way. He's no longer with Texas.
Right.
The 0-1 pitch to Pujols is upstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. So a lopsided deal that certainly favored San Diego.
You got a starting pitcher. You got your everyday first baseman, and you got an extra part that just came to the big leagues, but has been a major league fringe player in the past.
Second tallest pitcher in the history of the major leagues, along with Randy Johnson. They're both 6'10". John Roush, we just saw him with Washington. He is 6'11".
He was an outstanding collegiate basketball player at the University of Princeton.
2 balls and a strike. A lot of pitches up here early on.
Yeah, well, I mean, he had that oblique muscle strain. He has that ability to pitch up a lot of times, and that's why he'll get guys to pop up. 6'10", it's easy for him to get the ball down, you'd think. But right now, he doesn't look quite comfortable, does he?
No. Pujols is sitting on 24 home runs. The 2-1 pitch outside. 3-1 with Edmonds on deck. To see Ricky Ankiel do this, Al, did you honestly believe that he would
honestly
make it back?
Did not.
I think you and mostly everybody that follows this game. I mean, he is a tremendous athlete. To be able to do what he's done, I mean, this story is just remarkable.
Well, I mean, you got to go back and think about his home life growing up. He had some deal with some tough things.
In the air to right field. Koviak over near the line and makes the catch. Padres defense tonight, as always, brought to you by Auto Tires. We go around the horn. Hairston, Cameron, McCoviac in the outfield. Ensberg, Blum, Giles, and Gonzalez along the infield. Josh Bard is behind the plate. Opponents only hitting 184 against Young and an ERA of 1.82.
Saw Rick early this for spring training. We had the Legends Camp in Jupiter, Florida. That's where he makes his home. Told me he got married in the off season. Wife Lori, and just all part of the natural progression of how he's matured. 32 home runs, and as I said, that's tops in the Pacific Coast. But how about the 89 RBIs? That was second in the league.
2 outs and a runner at first for Edmonds. And Jimmy hits it on the ground to the second baseman. Giles there. Over to Gonzalez. Sure, Ankiel can relax a little bit. That first plate appearance under his belt, and there's no score. Coming up later tonight, it's the FSN final score. All the highlights around the major leagues. And NFL camps as well. They'll go inside some of those. FSN final score tonight following the ball game here in St. Louis. Pinero back to work, top of the second. And there's no score. Pinero, Al, outside of one bad inning, was decent in his debut. That bad inning, though, cost him the game.
But it was somewhat predictable. And he made 31 starts in relief. He went a total of about 30 innings, or excuse me, 30 pitches in those outings. Was his high, and then he made 2 starts at AAA. The first one was 3 innings. The next one was 5 innings. Got up to about 67 pitches, but back to the big leagues, you're a little more excited. New team, you wear yourself down. Got about 50 pitches and wore out. So we'll see if he can get that pitch count up a bit higher, and kind of hopefully stretch himself out to get to maybe 6 innings tonight.
2 balls and 1 strike.
In a weird series, the Cardinals are 3-3 with the Padres this year. Padres 3 wins have all been shutouts, and the Cardinals 3 victories. They've only scored in 1 inning in all 3 victories.
In the air to the opposite field. Duncan is there, and he'll make the catch. Who would have thought at one point you'd have a first baseman playing left field, Duncan, and a pitcher playing right field in Ankiel. Sandwiched between them, you've got Jim Edmonds. Morgan Ensberg, the former Astro.
Talked to Morgan a little bit. He had nothing but kind things to say about the Houston Astros, but so it was time to move on.
Pujols there for out number 2. And lost in all this. Cardinals had an announcement about Scott Spiezio. And the announcement read like this: the St. Louis Cardinals announced this afternoon that infielder Scott Spiezio has been placed on Major League Baseball's restricted list. Spiezio came forward to the club concerned about possible problems related to substances he was taking, unbeknown to the team's medical staff, and his return has not been determined. So we wish him nothing but the best and hope to see him back here at the ballpark.
Yeah, and there's already been some erroneous things going out there that he's been suspended indefinitely. That is not the case. The restricted list, just almost like the employee assistance program. You know, he's asked to help. The same thing if a secretary or anybody working in the front office said they had a problem, and you know, you still get paid. He still gets pension time. He's just on a restricted list, and they will determine what kind of course of action to help him out, but that is very, very private, and that's all we'll say.
2 balls and 1 strike on Makoviak. In right field tonight, hitting .267 with no homers. Out to center field. Edmonds looks up, and this one is going to hop off the wall, and a double for Makoviak with 2 outs here in the 2nd inning.
And strange, all the fly balls, everything hit in the air, where you think of Pinero as the kind of guy that would get the ball down and get ground balls, but everything has been up, and this is the first one that finds a hole over the head of Edmonds. One hops the wall. Instead of being down, it's up. They're hitting balls in the air, and that is not a good formula, but only 1 hit so far. No hitter is gone.
Two outs and a runner at second. Live shot. Some of the folks still finding their way inside.
This is a sold-out game, but I think with the, and it's a little cooler and a little breeze going through, so it's a little easier on the fans, but some of the empty seats are just people expecting they can't tolerate the heat. I had some friends that were in and went to the game, and they said they saw the whole game. They left with 2 outs in the Cardinals' bottom of the first.
That was
it. Just too hot.
Yep. Well, they saw everything.
They saw it all last night.
Third ball in there for a strike. Josh Bard hitting .275 with 3 home runs, 28 RBIs.
Switch hitter, hitting .275 overall, right-handed .391, left-handed .230. Pinero's almost had a reversal, and when he first came to the big leagues with Seattle, I mean, he was dominant. First 4 seasons went 37-20 with 5 complete games, and since that start, since the start of 2004, that record almost reversed. Instead of 37-20, he's 22-36 with an ERA of 5.56. And it was about a year ago when he was taken out of the rotation and put in the bullpen. Middle August.
3-2 pitch. Left center, and Duncan makes the catch. Padres will strand a runner. Near collision here with Edmonds and Duncan. The left fielder comes up with it.
Really like
I'm throwing just as hard as I ever did. The ball's just not getting there as fast. Lefty Grove in our Geico quote tonight.
Well, Lefty was the first one to say that, because, you know, we've heard that statement many times from different people.
Here's Scott Rowland, and Rowland gets underneath this one, high in the air out to deep left field. It's at the wall and caught. Dodgers make their only visit to Busch this weekend. Best way for your tickets and to find them is at the Prime C Club on STLCardinals.com. Dodgers just picked up Mark Sweeney, we understand, and he'll be in St. Louis this weekend.
That's good. I know Mark is hoping to get picked up and go to a contending team.
Popped up. Shortstop Blum backs up on the outfield grass, 2 away. He's one of the closest friends that Barry Bonds has on that Giants team.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
About, what, 500 miles separating them now.
Here's Molina with 2 outs and nobody on.
LA will be in town later this evening as they defeated Cincinnati 5-4, so they could even be here. Get Brad Penny, Derek Lowe.
Two balls and a strike. Yadier had the night off last night in game 3 of this series. Average at 254, the 2-1 pitch. Molina pops it foul and out of play.
1 for 7 in this series. Slowed him down because he was batting .306 in his last 12 games with an at-bat.
Three-two to Molina. Second walk issued by Young. This seems like he is not comfortable whatsoever. Normally when he is right, you don't see many walks in and out, up and down.
Well, that's why, I mean, you just, you know, as I said, he came off the disabled list to make this start. Oblique muscle strain, and he just looks like he's uncomfortable, but his numbers are so good. You know, he has the best ERA in the Major League Baseball. Not that he throws particularly hard, but he's just spots his ball very well, and he's got to have some late movement. The way guys pop the ball up, don't really center it.
Went 11-5 last year.
What he did on the road last year was 6-0.
ERA of 2.41, which was best in the National League away from home. On the outside corner, and Joel Pinero strikes out looking. First strikeout for Young. We head to the third, and there's no score.
We need a laptop for class.
A digital camera so we can see your new friends.
And a new phone to call home.
Right?
Uh-huh. No way. I'm totally front row!
Back to school rocks at Circuit City with everything to work hard and play harder.
Snooks, this date in baseball history, for the first time in Major League history, 5 grand slams are hit on the same day. Tatis, Jose Vidro, Mike Lowell, Bernie Williams, and Jay Buhner all connect to set the record. That kid is a bruiser. That's football right there.
Yeah,
that's not baseball.
He's ready.
That's a nose guard in the making.
That was his helmet on.
Move to the third here in St. Louis, and there's no score. Marcus Giles Young, the pitcher, and Hairston.
For some reason, Molina went out to talk to Pinero. Marcus needs 2 more doubles, and then he'll have his 5th straight 20 double season. And a lot of his playing time curtailed.
In the air to center field. Edmonds for the first out. Bank of America, the official bank of the St. Louis Cardinals. Visit us at bankofamerica.com. I think you have to give the Cardinals a lot of credit for this night as well. Rick Ankiel battling back, and the Cardinals sticking with the player.
They're the ones that actually suggested. It was Walt Jockey that suggested to Rick that, okay, we understand that you no longer want to pitch, but why don't you stick around and see if you can swing the bat? You're a good hitting pitcher. Let's see if you can make yourself an outfielder. And maybe the thought process was, you know, maybe he'll change his mind, but he never did. He stuck with his decision.
One ball and 2 strikes. And that's a strikeout of Young. Now you're talking about Rick Ankiel, and I'm sure we'll get a lot of emails asking us questions about him. You can email us in the booth. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN, the keyword Cardinals booth. You get a look there at Ankiel. He has changed completely physically too. He is put together. Back to the top of the lineup, and Hairston, who flied to center. 2 strikeouts, first time through the lineup for Pinero. Stan the man statue outside Bush. One ball, 1 strike.
Sonic pitch count, 36. Breaking ball now starting to buckle the knees of some of these Padres hitters. He had his fly ball out working in the first time through the order, and see if now he'll get the breaking ball working.
See Molina point to his front shoulder.
Line open.
2-2 the count on Hairston. Well pitched ball game last night. Really, the pitching in the series has been pretty good. To left center it goes, and that's extra bases. Couple of hops off the wall, and Hairston stops at second. 2-out double. So a 2-out double last inning, and Pinero was able to pitch around it.
Hairston did something earlier this year that has never happened in the Padres franchise history. He had a 2-home run game. His second home run was a walk-off, and then the next day he hit a leadoff home run and hit 3 home runs in a span of 3 at-bats.
Tonight's telecast from FSM Midwest is available in HD. Contact your cable or satellite provider for more information. HD carriers tonight include Charter Communications on channel 792 here in St. Louis and Dish Network on channel 368. A strike to Blum, who's turned into a versatile player for San Diego. Plays second base, third, and tonight he is at short.
He is 5 for 11 in this series with a home run and 2 RBIs, and he's hit almost 500 in August.
A check swing, and did he go? No, he did not. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Hitting over 400 his last 14 games, 353 since the All-Star break. And
time called. One and 2. Cardinals elected not to bring up Skip Schumacher. Ankiel gets the call, and he is here to stay and play.
Yeah, I think Skip did everything, and he will be recalled, but I think it gives you an opportunity to see what Rick can do over an extended period of time, because beginning in September there are going to be a lot of clubs that are bringing up AA and AAA pitchers.
Ground ball hit too short. Eckstein over to Albert Pujols. And coming up for the Cardinals, Kennedy, Eckstein, and then Ankiel. No score here in St. Louis.
Before you order your next beer, consider this. Budweiser still goes to the expense of Beechwood aging, an original old world style of lagering. And Budweiser cares enough to own and maintain world-renowned hop farms.
Baseball on FSM Midwest is brought to you by Kia Motors. Kia, the power to surprise. By Rico, move your ideas with Rico dependability. And by Aflac, ask about it at work. Ninth man in the lineup, and that is Adam Kennedy tonight. Being in the ninth spot can be a little shot to your ego, but he's handled it quite well.
Well, the thought being to put another position player ahead of third place hitter. When Tony devised at 98, it was to the benefit of Mark McGwire. First time through the order, you've got 2 position players ahead of the third place hitter, but then after that, hopefully you have the 9-1-2 ahead of the third place hitter. Cardinals had a better record when they employed that the second half.
Down the right field line, and it's hooking out of play.
Actually, McGwire had more production in the first half than he did in the second half of his record-breaking year. And the Cardinal pitchers already have hit better than the ninth place hitter in this experimentation of 5 days, 5-6 days doing it. Kennedy the first day. It was Pinero's game. He first at bat, he hit a home run.
Grounder hit to first. Gonzalez too young. 6'10", pretty athletic. As you mentioned, Al, very good basketball player in college. September 7th, a limited number of Cardinal fans have the opportunity to spend the entire night on the field at the annual Cardinals campout presented by Bass Pro Shops and Tracker Boats. All campers will also receive a sleeping bag courtesy of Bass Pro Shops. For tickets or more information, head to the Cardinals website at stlcardinals.com or call 345-9600. Top of the lineup, and here is Eckstein. Walked his first time up. Ankiel is on deck. Missed the pregame show. I asked Tony about if the situation arose where you're getting blown out, you're trying to save your bullpen. We've seen Spezio pitch, Aaron Miles pitch. I said, would you even think about throwing Rick Ankiel on the mound? And he said, only if Ankiel came to me, and even then, there's not a chance.
Yeah. Said that the only thing he could envision is Rick throwing a breaking ball and injuring his arm, and he said, you'll never see me again. I'll be hiding.
I'd love to see him get back out there one more time.
No.
I'd love it.
Well, yeah, but he's made the commitment. It's not part of his future.
Strikeout of Eckstein. And there's 2 outs. Rick popped out to short in his first at bat.
It's one of the strangest phenomenons when you get a pitcher that all of a sudden hits a wild stage. Steve Blass was a control pitcher, won 19 games, a World Series, star, and then the next spring he couldn't throw a strike. There's been others, and there's been a lot in the minor leagues that's happened to that you never heard of, but a rarity in the big leagues, and it happened to Rick in postseason play.
2-1.
Give him some credit, mental toughness. I didn't think he'd be able to do this.
Just an amazing story. And the outfield is deep for Ankiel. Physically coming back from a knee injury. His arm. 2-2. With the nation watching his blow up, he was embarrassed. National television. Pitch after pitch to the backstop. A high strike, looked to be a ball, and Ankiel strikes out, and he's 0 for 2. So back-to-back Ks for Young, and we have played 3. No score here in St. Louis. Cameron on the first pitch, out to right center field, backing up Ankiel, and makes the catch. Right near the wall, and he was working with Dave McKay prior to the game tonight. And Ankiel comes up with the first out. Tomorrow night, get a look around the major leagues with the FSN Baseball Report, covering every team all season long with highlights, interviews, and analysis you won't get anywhere else. FSN Baseball Report tomorrow at 6 right here on FSN Midwest. Trying to get used to the dimensions here at Busch Stadium is Rick Ankiel.
I see him drift back here a little bit, alters his pattern, and catches the ball in the middle of the warning track. Once again, he got a few words from Jim Edmonds, an 8-time Gold Glove winner. And before the game, you saw Jimmy in the dugout giving him a little scouting report on Chris Young. They're all going to be very supportive and helpful to him. Adrian Gonzalez was involved in that trade that brought Padres starter Chris Young to San Diego. Had a brother that was playing at Memphis, playing second base there for a while, but then they got another prospect that kind of took over.
And Al, kind of lost in all the Ankiel hoopla is the fact that Encarnacion is on the bench tonight. And a logical question would be what happens to his playing time. And Tony has indicated that Edmonds also could, use some time off if Ankiel can play out in center, which he can.
The only thing that he stated is that Rick is going to get the next 3 games, including this one, and then after that he's going to play the best combination and give the team the best chance to win.
Smoked out to left, backing up Duncan near the wall and over his head, off the wall, backing up Edmonds. 3rd double of the night for San Diego. This one off the bat of Gonzalez.
Well, Pinero is a guy that had an exceptional sinker. You see, they're a little worried as Chris was not afraid to knock down a wall or move the stadium if he has to. This ball is down, but a left-handed hitter puts that nice swing on it. Got over his head and he crashed into the wall. It looked like his knee might have hit the base of it. Body goes into the chain link fence, but that left knee crashes into the base of the wall. He is as tough as they come, and he's not going to say anything. He'll stay out there.
Remember, that was the knee that he had problems with earlier this year too.
It was more of the infection, where he a couple different times got a staph infection in that knee.
First pitch to Morgan Ensberg is a strike. He popped out to Pujols his first time up.
You know what I'm talking about with Pinero? Is a guy that we saw when he was with Seattle. He threw his first complete game at shutout against the Cardinals in 0-2. Had a devastating sinker and good slider. Sinker produces ground balls. Change up there.
So many people have been pulling for Rick Ankiel to get back to the major leagues, and he has done so. Quite a story.
It's an old baseball adage, though. It's easy to get to the big leagues. It's hard to stay.
Play by Molina. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Pinero throws this breaking ball, overthrows it, and very nice technique, sliding to his right, putting that glove down right between the legs to block the ball.
Just missed inside. 2-2. On the Caravan this year, I was visiting with one of the minor league pitchers, and he said at Double-A he would play catch with Rick Ankiel last year, just on the side on flat ground, and occasionally Ankiel would spin off a breaking ball. He said right now he's got the best curveball in the organization. He said it was amazing just playing catch with him, the kind of stuff that he had. When he first came up, Al, it was eye-popping how good he was. Hardy's hot pitch of the game, 3rd strikeout for Joel Pinero.
Got in the head of the count, gave him an assortment of pitches, and then he pulls a string on him. 3rd strikeout, and of the 11 outs, only 1 on the ground tonight. Thank you.
Pujols there, steps on the bag, and the Padres have stranded 3 so far. Pujols leads it off when we come back. ...2007 NHL Draft and Blues All Access Draft Special. Airing tomorrow at 10 on FSN Midwest. Get a real behind-the-scenes look and feel the excitement of the draft during this unparalleled access. That's tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
And there's a very special gentleman who's celebrating his 82nd birthday down in Jonesboro, Arkansas. His favorite player is Albert Pujols, who's stepping in right now, but this is an old coach and an Arkansas senator, and he wrote the bill that lobbied and eventually was passed for 18, 19, and 20-year-olds to have the right to vote in Arkansas. And he had served, and after that it spread around the country. He had served in World War II as a teenager and came home believing that if our young men could die for their country, they should have the say in it. So in 1971, as a young senator, that was his first agenda. So we want to wish happy birthday to former Arkansas Senator Bill Bishop. Happy birthday, Mr. Bishop. 82 years old down in Jonesboro, Arkansas.
2-1 pitch to Albert. Souvenir for that gentleman. Whoa. See, his wife is really interested. 2-2 pitch. Sticks the bat out and lifts it to center. Cameron is there for the first out. Sunday, August 12th, the Redbirds play the Dodgers. All kids ages 12 and under receive a Cardinals World Series bear, courtesy of the Build-A-Bear Workshop. For tickets, please visit the Cardinals website, stlcardinals.com, and click on the Prime Seat Club. Here's Jim Edmonds, grounded to second, his first time up, 0 for 1. Cardinals still looking for their first hit. Talked about the addition of Ankiel and what that may do with some of the playing time for the outfielders with the loss of Spezio. The Cardinals, have to look at what may happen if Roland needs a day off. Brendan Ryan showed that he could play third base. He's down in the minor leagues. Aaron Miles has played over there, but just a few innings.
Well, the truck wants to tell you Taguchi will get some shot, but he could, but doubtful. Be your emergency situation.
Assuming Miles would be your backup.
Yeah, and I mean, you kind of notice Tony trying to rotate his 3 middle infielders between the 2 positions.
And this is popped up. Giles is there for the second out. Let's go pitch by pitch. Young against Edmonds, brought to you by Chevrolet.
Well, you see he's set up down and away, but everything is, a lot of these pitches are up. They're a good pitch down and away. Breaking ball there, and then a fastball up in the zone. Jimmy trying to get on top of it, got underneath him, popped it up. Allowed 2 walks tonight, but that's it.
Rolling off the glove of the third baseman Ensberg and into left. Rocket off the bat of Roland and a base hit. First hit for the Cardinals tonight.
Scott's hitting the ball with a lot more authority, and that ball ate up Ensberg. You see him playing off to the side, didn't square up to it. It was hit very hard, but he could have taken another step. And the reason you want to play squared up to a ball is that if it takes that bad hop, it hits you right in the trunk of the body, falls to your feet, you pick it up and throw the guy out. But a lot of modern ball players today play the ball to the side. Goes through, it's base hit.
Roland almost took off and was ready to steal the base.
Well, remember, when you got somebody 6'10", they can't physically be quick to the plate. And if you get guys on, you're going to try and run off a Young and Bard, that combination. Slow to the plate, and then Bard is only thrown out 7 of 70 base runners, 10%. So especially with 2 outs, trying to get a guy in scoring position.
He's got that high leg kick, and as you mentioned, as big as he is, slow to the plate.
For a basketball player, and you know, he's coming off the disabled list, he looks a little bit out of whack, but for a big guy, 6'10", he is remarkable and be able to have a repeatable delivery.
Duncan looks at a strike, 2-1.
And you know, the agility to play Division I basketball, and he played at Princeton, is you gotta have to have fairly quick feet.
There he goes, and the pitch is fouled back 2-2. He had more than 1,000 career points, 500 rebounds, and 200 blocked shots. Completed Princeton with his degree in June of 2002. He's 9-1 at Princeton.
Wife has a pretty famous grandfather or father?
NHL's former Patrick Division was named for his wife's
grandfather.
Correct.
She is the former Liz Patrick.
There goes Rolen again, and Duncan hits it foul into the Cardinal dugout. Real soft-spoken guy is Young. 9-1 in 2 seasons at Princeton. And just before he was set to start classes for his junior year, he signed with the Pirates. Got a bonus of $1.65 million. And at that time, he was just 6 classes shy of graduating, so he went back, got his degree in 2002. Such a good basketball player. The Sacramento Kings actually approached him about in the offseason playing basketball for them in the NBA. Obviously a bright guy. He wrote his senior thesis on Jackie Robinson's impact on racial stereotypes in the media.
He stole that from me.
Upstairs to Duncan, and that's 3 walks. So with 2 outs, the Cardinals get a base hit from Rolen. Walk to Duncan. Let's see if Molina can make him pay.
Molina doesn't get a pitch or something, he can't drive out into. I'm going to pick left center.
Walked his first time up, back in the second. 2 outs, 2 on, and Molina picks up the base hit. That's into right field. Rolen scores. Duncan is held up at third, and it's 1-0 St. Louis. RBI base hit for Yadier Molina, and that's the first 2-out RBI hit for either side in this series.
The 19th RBI for Molina. He missed 26 games, but set up away, but the ball started coming in, but an inside-out stroke just over the outstretched glove of Gonzalez, and Rolen scores. Duncan scrambles his way to third. That's 1 2-out base hit. Can you get some more?
Up to the pitcher in the 8th spot, Pinero.
Now, there are times where you can understand the reasoning, thinking of Tony batting the pitcher 8th, but there are other times when it works to the defender's favor. You'd have a position player, the 8th place hitter here. It's a give and take.
0-2 pitch. Strikeout of Pinero. Cardinals though pick up a run on the RBI base hit by Molina. 1-0 Cardinals. Samsung video sharing phone, a VIP tour of the ballpark, and watch a game from the green seats. It's the last shot of summer sweepstakes in stores at participating AT&T retail stores. Along with Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin, our Bud Productions crew, as we move to the top of the 5th, and the Cardinals lead it 1-0. Yadier Molina picked up the RBI. His 19th. For those of you just joining us, Rick Ankiel called up. Get an email from Mike in Imperial, Missouri. How old is Rick Ankiel?
About 27 now.
I think he's 28.
28? Okay. It's like
could be wrong.
His birthday was in July. He's 28 on July 19th. Very good.
Wearing number 24 as Pinero has a visit again from Molina to start the inning.
He wore 20 4 at Memphis, and this morning Joe Patini got a call as Rick called Rip Rowan and said, hey, I'd like to wear number 24. They called Patini. That was his number. He said, I don't care, as long as he helps us. So Joe was accommodating, switched his number, and now Joe is 49. Rick used to be, when he was a pitcher, he was 66.
Klein was 49 too, wasn't he?
Yep.
Pinero flips to Pujols, and Bard is the first out here in the 5th.
If we would have told Patini that that was Klein's old number, he might have resisted.
So he wears number 24, and at the age of 28, he's back in the big leagues. Still plenty of time. Young man. Another conference on the mound.
Molina has more conference with his pitcher than any other catcher.
Here's Marcus Giles as he flied to center his first time up. Question from Tim asking us about the Cardinals advanced scouting, and we can tell you, Tim, the majority of that is done, as you see Greg Maddux, who pitched here last night, through video. I mean, Chad Blair and his staff, video coach of the Cardinals, are always digging up video on opposing teams and players, looking a couple of weeks ahead, trying to find out their latest tendencies.
Maddux and Peavy will tell you, all they could. Chad Blair and company says, look out, guys, you're facing some of the best. But Cardinals do not use a traditional advanced scout.
.62 pitches on the night for Joel Pinero.
Thought he'd stretch out a little bit more.
Backing up Pujols to make the catch. Padres go in order. 1-0 Cardinals.
Perfect.
Oh. To you by Bud Light. Bud Light, always worth it. Dodgers and Cardinals on News Channel 5 tomorrow. Jay Randolph and Rick Horton. Come your way at 6:30 in our Bud Light What's on Tap. Dodgers and Cardinals. Our next telecast will be on the road. We'll be in Milwaukee and then Chicago. Very important road trip coming up.
Adam Wainwright against Brad Penny. Adam is the Cardinals' biggest winner at 10 wins, and Penny has 13.
Dodgers were shut out 3 consecutive games by Cincinnati.
But they won today 5-4 over the Redlegs.
First pitch to the 9th place hitter. Adam Kennedy is taken for a ball. Kennedy, Eckstein, and Ankiel. Rick tonight has popped out to short and struck out. And Adam Kennedy has grounded out. Adam Kennedy really helped out Ricky Ankiel back in the early 2000-2001 season. Off season, those two became very close. At one point, they were actually roommates. Count of 3 balls and no strikes. Marty wants to know what's going on with Dave McKay when a runner gets on. Is he just saying attaboy? And that's not quite the case.
Well, going over a lot of scenarios. Remember how many outs there are. Don't get doubled off on line drive. You get out to second base, listen for me, and pick up both base coaches. Talk about the move the guy had. Get your secondary leads. A lot of little things.
Gonzalez will step on the bag for the first out. Brings in Eckstein. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Struck out back in the third.
And then it's attaboy.
Nice night for baseball and another big crowd here at Busch Stadium. Pitch is taken in the dirt for ball 1.
Rick Ankiel made his major league debut up in Montreal. He has one current teammate, was a teammate back then. You know who that was?
Edmonds.
No.
Oh, that's right. That was 1999, wasn't it?
Yeah. So who was traded for Jim Edmonds?
There you go, Kennedy.
Michael Barrett was on the other side. Barrett was catching up there.
The 3-1 pitch. Eckstein hits it in the air to Mike Cameron. 2 outs. Let's take a look at the SunTrust Automotive Family Cardinal victories recap. And this season, the Cardinals have won 52 games, and SunTrust donates $100 for each Cardinals victory.
52 and 59, 6 games back in the Central, and they're finally 1 game over 500 at home.
Ankiel's on base percentage wasn't that great down in the minor leagues. Was hitting close to 270. And with his power came some strikeouts along the way too.
Strikeouts, very few walks, but as we said, leading the Pacific Coast League with 32 home runs, second in RBIs with 89.
The 0-2 pitch. Ankiel pops it up behind home plate and into the seats.
The one thing you ask Hal McRae, one thing he notices and what he likes is kind of like a Chris Duncan and a Ryan Ludwig. You know, he's not tentative when he starts to swing. You know, he'll let it fly.
Once it outside, the 0-2 pitch taken high. 1-2.
Struck out the, popped up the first time, struck out the last time. He thought the ball was high, and it saw a replay. It was not, and good tailing action back over the plate.
2-2. Fans are ready to erupt with a base hit, a home run, something positive for Rick Ankiel. He got a nice reception when he was introduced.
Looked like people were stunned when he made a couple plays in the field too.
2-2, and Ankiel strikes out. 0 for 3. After 5, it's 1-0 St. Louis. Baseball on FSM Midwest is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Try the new sirloin burger. 100% sirloin, your choice of cheese and onions, only at Jack in the Box. By your local St. Louis Chrysler Jeep dealers. And by U.S. Cellular. We connect with you. 6th inning rolls in here at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals leading 1-0.
Pinero has allowed 3 doubles. And he's retired 5 in a row, but second start with the Cardinals. Made 2 starts at AAA Pawtucket in the Boston chain, and he went 3 the first one, 5 innings the next one. So you got to watch him close now.
A liner into left center field. Over to get it is Duncan, and Hairston is digging for 2. He's going to be out. He's going to be out. May have hurt himself too.
Strained a rib cage or something. his buddy. They went to the same high school, played on the same baseball team, and this is no fun trying to test your buddy. And you see there, throw accurate. You watch him, Harrison digging right there, and he grabs for his side. So, and look at, they're having a little trouble getting off the field right now. So oblique muscle, or almost looks more abdominal. Trying to pick a pocket of his former high school teammate, and Chris Duncan returned the favor.
Strike at the knees to Jeff Blum.
Pinero, 65 pitches, doesn't sound like much, but trying to stretch him out. Very warm, humid night. There is a nice little breeze through the ballpark that makes it bearable. And Harrison just helped him out, trying to stretch that single into a double. Records the first out.
Ground ball that's pulled foul.
There's that little breeze. Some people might be shocked, as the weathermen call it, a cold front.
1-2 pitch. Breaking ball lifted into center field. Edmonds for out number 2. Cardinal fans, once again this year, the Busch brand family provides you with Busch Bash every Friday home game. All fans are given the opportunity to enjoy live music, interaction with Team Fredbird, and the opportunity to meet a member of the 2007 Cardinals roster. Don't miss the next Busch Bash in the Ford Plaza, located behind the center field scoreboard, tomorrow night against the Dodgers. Cardinals pitcher Anthony Reyes will be signing autographs between 6 and 6:30. Well pitched in this ball game tonight so far. Pinero's been very good. Just missing on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike on Cameron. Wainwright going tomorrow.
He'd like to atone for his shortest outing of the season out at Dodger Stadium.
Pinero did not want to do that as he hits Cameron, his former teammate.
Maybe he did. But I think you're right. Set up inside and just gets him right on the left buttocks. And you see his reaction. It's not what he's trying to do. 71 pitches. He has gotten very few ground balls this evening, but he could use one. He's got 2 outs because of Hairston, so it's getting ahead of myself, but finish him off right here.
Gonzalez 1 for 2 with a double. Mike Cameron at first. He was thrown out by Gary Bennett last night.
I don't think he's going to challenge Molina.
Email from Hannibal, and John wants to know about Colby Rasmus. Would he be one of the guys that gets called up? And it's an interesting question, because you'd like to see him get a little taste of the big leagues, and he'll be a AAA next year more than likely, but making that jump from AA to the major leagues, just get a little taste of it.
Yeah, it could go either way. A lot of times organizations don't want to start the clock, and what I mean by that, get service time and get closer to arbitration. But if Kobe is the player that people project him to be, he's going to get his 3 years in at some point anyway. And as you said, a lot of times, you bring young players up here, don't give them a lot of playing time. You just kind of let them soak in the environment, be a sponge. And each time they come back up or go to spring training with a big club, they feel a little bit more part of the organization and team. But Colby will get here soon enough, whether he gets called up or not. And he hasn't had the consistency. He got off to a little slow start, then he went through a tear where they couldn't get him out for a couple weeks, and and then kind of cooled off. Went through a prolonged slump, and I think he fought it a little bit himself. And he's only 20 years of age, so.
2-1 on Gonzalez. Rip to Kennedy. Inning started with a base hit by Hairston, trying to extend it for 2. Hurt himself on the way and thrown out by his former high school teammate Chris Duncan. Well, tune in Saturday for a new episode of Cardinals Crew. Andy Bennis and Fred Bird will show you some of the animals at Grant's Farm. We'll also go on a tour of the souvenir stands at Busch Stadium. That's Cardinals Crew, brought to you by Grant's Farm, Saturday at 11 on FSM Midwest. Pujols is 0 for 2. Make it 0 for 3. Joel Pinero and Chris Young tonight. The pitching has been terrific on both sides.
Absolutely. And Jamel Sledge, by the way, goes in to play left field and replace Scott Hairston. Stirring around in the Cardinal bullpen, but nobody's throwing. But if nobody gets up this inning, I'm sure they may shadow Pinero next as he goes back out for the 7th.
Pitch it's taken low by Edmonds. So Sledge takes over in left field. The 1-0 pitch. 2 balls and no strikes. High in the air, opposite way. Caught at the track by Sledge. Pitching lines on both sides, and Pinero has yet to allow a walk. Young has given up 3. He struck out 5. Only a couple of hits allowed by Mr. Young. Young has thrown 80 pitches. Pinero through 6 has thrown 75.
Well, Chris Young in the 4th inning with 2 outs, a base hit, a walk, and then an RBI single off the bat of Molina to score the Cardinals' only run. Scott Rowland got the first base hit and scored the run with 2 outs like he has right now.
1 ball, 1 strike. Sure, after Pinero hit a man and then that hard hit ball by Gonzalez, the line out, Tony will keep a watchful eye on him this next inning.
Well, if these games go according to the first 6 in their home and away matchup, Padres have won 3 games. All 3 of them were shutouts, and the Cardinals have won 3 games where they only scored 1 run in each game. Scored 5 runs in their victory in San Diego. They scored 10 runs in their historic 10 consecutive hits in the 5th inning on Monday night. And then last night they got 2 runs in the 1st.
2-2. Chicago has jumped out to a 1-0 lead on the Rockies. That's in the top of the 2nd. And Rowland stays alive. Needs a new bat. Well, Scott Rowland really had a nice at bat against Jake Peavy the other night. A couple of good at bats in this series.
Yeah, especially that first time up, 14 pitch bat. Eventually popped up, but at the time he made Maddox work and You almost got to think, because of the length of that at bat, maybe it cut 1 inning off the future Hall of Famers pitch total. Didn't really matter,
right?
Because they got 2 runs in that first inning, and that was all the Cardinals needed in beating Greg Maddux, the 340 game winner, 2-1. That was only the 2nd Cardinal victory in 37 tries, and they scored less than 3 runs.
Hit left side to Ensberg. They get rolling by Step. Cardinals go in order. We have played 6 here at Busch Stadium. Redbirds on top, 1-0. This week, America's Grand Game returns to Fox when Russell Martin and the Dodgers take on Albert Pujols and the Cardinals. The Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week, Saturday at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central, right here on Fox. Pinero back to work. Cardinals bullpen is up and getting loose.
Troy Percival throwing out there. I asked Bud Black, his former pitching coach for the Angels, said you had a chance to talk to Troy, and he said, yeah, the first day. But Pinero has been the story as he's gone the first 6 innings. There's no walks has saved him as he's scattered 4 hits.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Last inning was the first time he had multiple base runners, as a leadoff base hit, but Harrison tried to stretch it into double, thrown out at second, and then with 2 outs he hit Mike Cameron before Kennedy reached up on a line drive.
Grounder hit to short, Eckstein. Good start for Pinero here in the 7th.
Anything he gets you from this point on is just gravy. 78 pitches, so has been economical with his pitch count. He's trying to stretch out his 2nd Cardinal start, and really his 4th start of the season. So
with 1 out, a fastball on the outside corner. Makoviak has doubled and grounded to Albert Pujols, 1 for 2. It's a very good opportunity for Joel Pinero to showcase what he can still do.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, he wants to be a starter. He's getting that chance. There you see Troy Percival.
Curveball tap foul, whether it's in St. Louis or somewhere else.
Cardinals are going to need, you know, starting help, and so Cardinals making the trade for Pinero, you know, they get the first shot at him.
Lifted in the air down the left field line. Over to give it a look is Duncan, out of play.
Duncan was playing very shallow and close to that left field line with a switch hitting left-handed hitter.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Big gap out in left center is Duncan, very close to the left field line for a left-handed batter. And they're pitching him away.
And a strikeout of Makoviak. 4 on the night for Pinero. Cardinals Game Day magazine, the current issue with Red Shandy's on the cover. Feature story on Ryan Franklin, Bill Cosby, and more. Start your subscription, $345-9000, to find out more about the Cardinals Game Day magazine. Folks do a great job with the magazine. 2 outs and nobody on for Bard. First pitch strikes, 19 of the 26 he has faced.
Control that strike zone and you're well on your way, and he's done a good job tonight.
1 ball, 1 strike. Knowing that the pitch count is in effect with Pinero to an extent, even more reason to try to get ahead and be aggressive.
Sure. And I would venture to say this would be his last inning, even if he has this 1-2-3 inning. And he's done quite the job in his second start.
Talk so much about Maddox getting ahead, and we did that last night. Pinero trying to do that tonight. 2-1 pitch. Loses the bat, and into the green seats it goes.
More bat tossing this year, haven't we?
Last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Count of 2 balls, 2 strikes. The end of the bat and foul. Cardinals will have Duncan, Molina, and then Pinero's spot coming up in their half of the 7th. Approaching 90 pitches on the night now.
Just retire this man and at the mercy of your bullpen, but he can be very proud of the work he's provided tonight.
A 3-2 pitch. Ground ball. Kennedy to his right. Over to Albert. Time to stretch. Cardinals lead it 1-0. Nancy Mobley is tonight's merchandise winner in the Hyundai Long Drive Inning Sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run in the 7th, Nancy Mobley qualifies for the Hyundai Sonata drawing in September. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer. Duncan, Molina, and then Pinero's spot. Troy Percival was up and throwing. It looks like Franklin now is throwing in the bullpen, and a right-hander getting loose in the bullpen for San Diego. Duncan, a swing and a miss on the first pitch, up at his eyes. He's popped out to short and walked back in the 4th. Young has struck out 5 and allowed just 2 hits.
Retired 7 in a row since Molina base hit and drove in the only run of this ball game.
Two and 1. I mean, you watch Young, big guy, but doesn't throw overly hard. Like you said, Al, you look at his numbers, there must be a lot of late movement.
Yeah.
And hits his spots. Not much left over the middle of the plate.
He really keeps the ball under 90 miles an hour, but changes speeds, changes in and out, and get a lot of outs, pitches up in the zone. Nobody's really centering that pitch.
Pitch speed differential, the high tonight 90, the low of 69. The 3-2 pitch, and Duncan draws a walk. 4th issued by Young tonight. Got Molina could bunt in this spot, but the pitcher spot is next, and so Taguchi has moved to the on-deck circle. Initially showing bunt. Let's see what the Cardinals want to do. Bunts it in the air, but foul.
It should be a part of Molina's game that he should be able. It's only one sacrifice, but boy, the type of hitter he is, he has to be more proficient in sacrificing than that. Step off there to try and see if Molina will give away what he's showing. Ensberg, the third baseman, playing in as if he's going to bunt, and you never know. It could be every other. I think he's going to swing away. Now that could change as Molina will step out and reset the check with Oquendo. We've seen Tony a lot of times. He'll show bunt one time, then he'll pull it back and give a guy a shot. Seen him also put the hit and run on in these situations.
Bunting again and bunted foul.
You see he's never getting the bat in fair territory. Bat angle is bad, and he's got the bat back behind the plate. So when he bunts it, it's not staying fair. Now Oquendo is going to come out and talk to him. Watch the bat come back and stabbing at it. Got to have the flex in the knees. He does that, but you want the barrel higher than the handle. You want to just catch the ball with the bat. Almost think like you got a glove on that right hand sticking in front of the bat, and just catch it in that glove.
Showing bunt again, the 0-2. Pulls back. Did not offer at it. 1-2. Those two bunt attempts in the foul balls, both times to a gentleman in the green seats, and both times he couldn't make the catch.
Oh.
And that's why he was getting booed. Crowd of 42,848 tonight.
See if he doesn't butcher boy.
Duncan is running, and
Yep.
the pitch is a base hit to left. Duncan on his way to third. Sledge will throw it back into second base. So with 2 strikes, Molina picks up the base hit.
A lot of times Tony will do it before 2 strikes every other pitch, but you got the feeling that he was so poor in bunting. So now they're going to charge aggressively at the corners. They're going to come in, and you leave either right or left open. And see, the shortstop was moving, and he just kind of hit it through the vacated shortstop area, just bounces it through. Duncan was moving on the pitch and hit and run, and you have to make sure you hit down on the ball in order to not hit into a line drive double play. And Molina did it perfect. He has a perfect night. He's 2 for 2 in a walk. He has the only RBI, but Taguchi will have a shot here.
Cardinals, one of the best pinch hitting clubs in baseball. Pitch out, none doing.
They're the best in the National League. They have 50 pinch hits on the season. Their average is right about 284. And Taguchi has reached safely in 9 of his last 15 appearances. He's got 6 singles, a base on ball, hit by pitch, and a double. Overall, he's 8 for 20, a 400 average of a pitch hitter.
Infield is drawn in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals with 50 pinch hits on the year and a 282 average. The pinch hitters collectively have put together. 8 for 20 pinch hitting this year for So Taguchi. The 1-1 pitch. Check swing, and 2 balls and a strike. Inning started with a walk to Duncan, the 4th issued by Young tonight. Then with 2 strikes, Molina base hit between short and third. The 2-1 pitch. 3-1. Kennedy on deck.
Doug Brocail is warming up in the Padres pen. See the veteran. Have a very solid bullpen, Padres.
Full count.
88 miles an hour, but when you're 6'10" and you stretch out, make your stride towards the plate, that ball's got to get on top of it. You know, like as if you're throwing 2 or 3 miles an hour faster. Didn't want a fastball away. Looks like a slider.
Pitch in the dirt, gets away, and Duncan will score. Cardinals lead it 2-0.
So ball 4 and a wild pitch. In a 1-0 game, and you got that runner at third base, ball in the dirt, you got to have a little better effort than that. Like the eyes are closed, just kind of stabbed at it with his glove, no weight shift at all, and the ball got by him for an additional run.
So runners at first and second. This will be it for Young. A double switch coming up for Bud Black and the Padres. The Cardinals lead it by the score of 2-0. Talk about the changes when we come back, and Kennedy coming up. 43rd appearance for Doug Brocail. Called to the bullpen, brought to you by Chevrolet. His record is 4-1 on the season.
Long-time veteran pitcher. Part of the double switch that Kuzminov will go in to play third base. Brocail will be inserted in the Innsburg spot in the order. That's number 5, and Kuzminov will be batting second in the 8th inning in the 9th spot. Brocail has actually had more success against and been tougher on left-handed batters. They're only batting 182 against him. Righty's 260. And we'll see what Kennedy wants to do.
Still nobody out. He's swinging away and fouls it back. He could certainly bunt in this spot too.
Well, remember what we said. You know, Tony, you just never know what he's going to do pitch for pitch. 2 for 7 with a home run against Brocail. Not bunting the first pitch. But that doesn't mean he won't bunt this one or one pitch later on. Now you see Brocail step off as Adrian Gonzalez, the defensive quarterback, gives the bunt plays with the rookie third baseman in. Tony talking with Hal McRae about this situation. They're trying to get the lead runner, and remember, that's Molina out at second base. So now Tony instructed Kennedy to at least show bunt, and it's a 1-1 count. Oh yeah, I could tell. You know, he wears those dark glasses because you could have read those eyes on that look.
1-1 the count.
See, defensively, they're trying to get the lead runner at third.
Kennedy pulls it to Gonzalez, who fires over to third, back to first, not in time. So they do get the lead man. He might have been able to go to second and get the double play, but they at least get the lead runner.
You see where the runners are right now, where he fields the ball right there. Look at where. He could go either way, but his choice is to get the lead run. The one thing you have to get is you have to get at least one. Kuzminov just in the game, he's standing flat-footed, so return throw not much on it. You'd think Kennedy hustling all the way. You wouldn't want a double play in that situation. You have to get at least one, and they still have the double play in order.
Here's Eckstein with Ankiel on deck. Brocail has been included in a 12-player trade back in 1994, 9-player deal in 96, 6-player deal in 2000.
He's always wanted. He has not allowed a run in his last 7 outings, and he's stranded 15 of 16 inherited runners. Double
Runners
steal.
go, and it's hit down the right field line, but foul.
Okay, I'll check right here. They goes to the plate, and both runners take off. Tony's got a 2-0 lead here. Rick Ankiel on deck. Remember, he's second in the PCL with 89 RBIs.
Eckstein hits it to Gonzalez, knocks it down, has a play. Brocail covering at first, and Rick Ankiel now with 2 runners on and 2 outs.
I wonder if they'll walk him to pitch to Pujols. No chance, Dan?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right, because Brocail has better success against left-handed batters.
Right. Pinero, by the way, 7 innings, 4 hits and no runs. He was terrific tonight.
Absolutely.
Bart out to visit with Brokaw. Maybe a quick scout report on Rick Ankiel, who has struck out twice and also popped out to short. A lot of pitches have been high to Ankiel. Maybe that's the scouting report that they're talking about.
Well, I think that was more the tendency of the way Chris Young threw tonight.
Hit fouling out of play. This is outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. There has been so much interest in Rick Ankiel over the last few years. The way that he busted onto the scene and then trip to the minor leagues, conversion to an outfielder, and now back in the majors.
Well, you just told people have patience and realize that he's still not a polished major league hitter.
Chance here to make an impression, though, with 2 runners aboard at second and third. Count of 2 balls, 1 strike, 2-0 Cardinals.
Two, 3, 4, and 9. Really, if you look at the first 4 in the order, no hits.
Ankiel out to deep right field, has a chance to leave the ballpark. It's gone. A 3-run shot for Rick Ankiel back in the major leagues. Remarkable. 5-0 St. Louis. Remarkable.
And nobody's happier than Tony La Russa. And these fans are pretty happy along with him. His teammates are happy. But that's the thing. You make your pitches. You got a chance to get him out. You make a mistake. He's got that raw power, and he's going to get his first curtain call.
With 2 outs, Pujols hits 1 foul and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes. Rick Ankiel, first game back in the major leagues, a 3-run homer. And look at Tony.
You never see that from Tony La Russa, but he has been in his corner for so long, and now Albert gets a base hit.
That was one of the best moments of the year.
Well, wait till you see Rick as he touches first base, raises his arm in triumph. Breaking ball, one-handed it. As he reached the bag, watch that hand go up. Probably wanted to do it a little higher, then he caught himself.
All the things that he has been through to come to this moment. And he gets a 3-run homer to make it 5-0 St. Louis.
Now Percival will replace Franklin with a 5-0 lead. And I think, Dan, you and I kind of were, you know, as much rest as you can give Franklin, kind of give him a little rest, and we really like this move bringing in Troy. And wouldn't have minded bringing him if it was still 1-0.
Is that something else or what? Unbelievable.
Well, you know, I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be. Storybook.
On a hop to the shortstop. Across the diamond. Edmonds retired, but Rick Ankiel hits his first home run since being recalled to the major leagues. 5-0 St. Louis. Rick Ankiel, a 3-run homer tonight, and the Cardinals have a lead of 5-0. By the way, Nancy Mobley, thanks to Rick Ankiel, is a Hyundai long drive inning sweepstakes winner. The tip of the cap coming here from Rick.
That's great.
I'm serious. I've never seen Tony that happy.
No, not at all.
That includes a World Series.
Even with McGuire hitting home run. I've never seen that happen.
Ever. Me neither. You got to wonder in the back of his mind if he felt some type of blame or responsibility over Ankiel failing on the mound. And to see him come back and do this, he's just so excited for him. Would you agree?
Yes. And knowing Tony, that I think he would, whether it's deserved or not, would probably maybe feel that type of responsibility or pressure.
Duncan out of the game and talking with Tony La Russa, new left fielder for St. Louis. And it's our call to the bullpen. Brought to you by Chevrolet. It's Troy Percival, his 15th appearance. Record of 2-0 and a 2.65 ERA.
Troy recently has been pitching in several games when the club was behind by quite a few.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. What a moment.
You know how excited he was inside. Did a pretty good job of containing that and not embarrassing anybody. He's been on the other side of throwing that pitch.
Sure has. Good point.
Quite a moment.
There's Kuzman off. He was part of the double switch. The Cardinals have really used, as you talked about, Al, Franklin and Springer an awful lot. And as the season has progressed, it's gotten better and better, it seems like, for Troy Percival. Why not see him in some of these higher pressure situations? Right now it's not, but if it would have stayed 2-0, why not see him in the 8th?
He's got 324 career saves. He's kind of reinvented himself, sitting out nearly 2 full seasons with a torn flexor muscle. Never had surgery to repair it, just basically retired. Coaching his son's little league team, throwing batting practice, started feeling better and better, and then he realized some of his former teammates playing for the Cardinals needed some help.
What do you think's going through the mind right now of Rick Ankiel with everything that he has been through?
I think he's saying, let's hurry up and get this game over with. But look at him, looks calm as can be.
And inside, his heart is pounding, and
it's been a decade ago he made his debut as a pitcher. Almost celebrated meltdowns.
Percival over to first. 2 outs. Calling all youth dancers and cheerleaders. It's time for the 6th annual Team Fredbird Dance Clinic. Saturday, September 1st. Team Fredbird will teach a one-day dance clinic, and participants will perform on the field prior to the Cardinals Reds game that night. One great price includes all this plus tickets to the game. For more information, number to call is 345-9413. Rick Ankiel had a long day traveling, got into St. Louis, at least in the clubhouse, right around 4 o'clock. Got dressed, met with the media. As you can imagine, a ton of media here tonight. Visited with Mike Shannon. Had a visit with us. And then it was off to batting practice, and he was not overly impressive in BP. You could see he was just a little jumpy. And tonight he has got 1 hit, and it's a big one, a 3-run shot. Now, you and I did his major league debut in Montreal and got a chance to know him a little bit. I mean, you're just thrilled for him. You're happy for him. You know, everything he's gone through, and we saw a lot of that behind the scenes, what fans don't see, and you know he was tormented, what was going on.
I saw going down to the Legends camp in late January. I'd see him there working out at the complex. Makes his home there in Jupiter now. Just up the road at Port St. Lucie is where he went to high school, and all the hard work.
Another look at Ankiel as we head to break. 5-0 St. Louis. Baseball on FSN tonight is brought to you by Budweiser, who thanks you for being a designated driver. By Chevrolet, meet the all-new Silverado 2007 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. See for yourself. Shop and compare at stlchevy.com. And by Advance Auto Parts, providing car care. Know how to protect your investment. We're ready in advance. Fun night of baseball. Cardinals lead it by the score of 5-0. Rick Ankiel in his debut as an outfielder is homer tonight, as Scott Rowland digs in. And Rowland pulls it to the third baseman. Across the diamond for the first out.
Brookale stays in. And Ludwig now will hit here. Pitcher spot.
Good start from Pinero. Cardinals get the home run from Ankiel. Fans are having fun. Temperatures are dropping a little bit. It's actually comfortable. Walt Jocketty's got to be thrilled with what he has seen tonight. Cubs have jumped out to a 9-1 lead against Colorado. That's in the bottom of the third. Talking with Ryan Ludwig before the game, and he said his best friend in the minor leagues is Rick Ankiel. Those two became very close. Said he was text messaging with Rick once he got the phone call to come to St. Louis last night till about 2 in the morning.
That's great.
Hits it in the air to right center field. That's going to get down for a base hit.
Ludwig leads the ball club with his 10th pinch hit. 3 of those are pinch hit home runs. And you know, when you think about it, you get Ludwig and you get Ankiel and you get Duncan. They all got a little bit of an attitude, and they all have a common denominator that they have a lot of pop in their bat. You know, they got some holes in their swings, but they're emerging major league hitters that have a distinct ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
And Ludwig may not be an everyday player, but boy, is he going to give you some pop off the bench. Hits from the right side, and he's good defensively.
Yeah, but he's also showing you the ability that he can come off the bench and be a productive part-time player. And the one thing, if you project, like right now, you got Duncan, you got Edmonds, you got Ankiel out there. There's 3 left-handed hitters. So there is room for a right-handed complement. Now that swings the bat from the right side.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Historically, Tony has preferred a lefty in the 2-hole in his lineup.
Especially somebody who's got a little pop in his bat. And Pujols provides protection for Rick. Remember, he did the same thing with Duncan when he first came up.
Larry Walker was in that spot.
He's had Jim Edmonds there at times, so to further accentuate the left-handed batter, especially when you got David Eckstein, leading off, and you got Albert, 2 right-handers. Nice to have a lefty there in between.
2-2 pitch. Molina, line drive into right, base hit. Ludwig stops at second base.
How about Molina's night?
On base 4 times and 3 singles.
3 for 3 and a walk.
And an RBI back in the 4th.
That's the game-winning RBI right now. First went out there, used his hands, trying to hit the ball the right side.
Runners at first and second. And here's Taguchi. Taguchi here with Kennedy on deck.
Pinched it last inning and he walked.
One ball, one strike. Bounce straight back.
Milwaukee idle tonight, so if the Cubbies hold on and win this game, they could be a half game back, and the Cardinals would be 5.5 game back of the Brewers. Big gap out on left center, kind of play him to hit the ball to right field.
In the air to right. Ludwig will tag up from second to third. Catch is made. 2 outs, runners at first and third for Adam Kennedy. Ankiel getting ready again if his spot comes up. On deck it's Eckstein and then Ankiel's spot. 2 outs, first and third, 5-0 Redbirds, and a swing and a miss. And a broken bat hit to the second baseman, and that'll do it. Cardinals strand 2, and the 9th inning rolls in when we come back. 5-0 St. Louis. Take a look at our Jack in the Box game reset. Rip Rowan does a wonderful job with the Cardinals. Got the uniform ready. Number 24, worn by Rick Ankiel, recalled from the minor leagues. Very warm ovation from the hometown crowd. Molina got things started for the Cardinals, but everybody's talking about that. A 3-run homer by Rick Ankiel to make it 5-0. The reaction from Tony La Russa. Chicago leading Colorado 9-1, top of the third. Milwaukee and Houston open up a series in Houston tomorrow night. And Milwaukee is 21-35 on the road. And Houston is now just 8.5 games out. Here's Tyler Johnson, his 39th appearance of the season. Tony always talks about just get to 500, then take a look at where you're at. And the Cardinals, if they can hold on tonight, would be 6 games below 500.
That would be 2 games over 500 at home. But you're right. You're really hard to consider yourself a contending team until you start playing 500 baseball, and then you go in leaps and bounds of 5 over, 5, and then 10 over, and keep on going. Tyler Johnson trying to finish this game off. His second appearance since coming off the disabled list Monday with a bicep tendonitis. Missed 41 ball games. Arm feeling much better, and maybe nice to have an efficient first inning.
Into right, on the move is Ankiel, over to get it. Well, this is the second game this year the Cardinals have scored 5 runs in a game against Chris Young, and he's the leader in ERA in the majors.
Another instrumental game. You know, the one thing too about Rick Ankiel, very popular with his teammates. Got to get that little shot in the arm, and that home run means an awful lot to his teammates. Forget about what it means to Tony and Rick.
Cardinals with 1-5 on that road trip, and now have a chance to take 3 of 4 against a very good Padres team.
And you know, we talked about it with a 1-5 road trip. Come home, played the 2 best clubs in the Western Division. That, you know, you sit there, and at the time we were talking about their placement, but then Arizona got hot. Colorado was actually went ahead of the Dodgers. They could be even after tonight if the Cubs hold on and beat Colorado.
Sometimes too, Al, you get a call up and it provides a spark. Just something different for the team, the fans. That may be the case with Ankiel and then some.
You don't want to get carried away. Like I said, you know, if he gets a pitch that he can handle, that was a one-handed swing and an off-speed pitch.
Two and 2. Just missing on the outside corner for Tyler Johnson.
Backhanded breaking ball. Cameron thought it was outside, and he's lucky to still be standing there.
Cardinals, by the way, are 43-0 this year when leading after 8 innings. Fouled back.
Biggest thing you want to see Tyler do is not walk anybody. Used most effectively as their situational lefty.
The Cardinals have scored against the Padres this season. They have won. They've been shut out in their 3 losses. And a 1-out walk to Cameron. Rick Ankiel, by the way, had home runs on April 20th and 26th of the 2000 season. And the home run on the 20th, first ever in the major leagues, ironically, came against the Padres. Back in the majors as an outfielder, and he does it again against San Diego. One out and a runner at first, and this is Gonzalez, so good matchup here. Lefty-lefty. Good test for Tyler Johnson.
It's also a good time too where he can see if he can spot his fastball and throw it effectively in places. Call another one here. 88, 89 miles an hour, but sometimes he's just out of whack with that. He just doesn't hit his spots with it. Leaves it up out over the plate. And when he stays on top of his slider, it's one of the most effective sliders in the league, but he has a tendency to leave it up and in too. So see how his slider works here.
Popped up. Play for Scott Rowland in foul territory.
Michael Barrett looks like he's going to pinch hit. Guy has killed the Cardinals the last few years. Swinging the bat.
First pitch to Barrett. Grounder pulled foul.
Diminished playing time since the trade. And you see a lot less playing time and a lot less production since the trade from the Cubs.
And a ground ball hit to second. This will do it. The Cardinals win it. They take 3 of 4, a shutout on a night when Rick Ankiel returns to the major leagues as an outfielder. Ankiel, a 3-run homer. Cardinals take 3 of 4, and our final tonight, St. Louis 5, the Padres nothing. Budweiser player of the game. Who might that be? It's coming up next. Joel Pinero is now 1-1. Young takes a loss, now 9-4, and the Cardinals win this game by the score of 5-0. A night in which a lot of eyes were focused on Rick Ankiel, and rightfully so, and he didn't let the folks down. A big 3-run homer.
Well, he really did. He saved it for the last at bat and kind of punctuated this victory, as Rick Ankiel were 0 for 3, had a little trouble, but he got a breaking ball. You see he went out there, got the extension, really a one-handed swing, lines it out to right field, and look at that. We've never seen Tony this happy anytime he's been here in St. Louis, and it's all because of Rick Ankiel's return and a big 3-run home run to cement the victory.
Last time the Cardinals were as close as 5.5 games out. They're now 5.5. When you take a look at what took place tonight, was back on June 13th. So Milwaukee was idle. Chicago is winning their game, but the Cardinals 5.5 games out. That's hard to believe.
Well, it's this topsy-turvy Central Division. Every time you look at the Cardinals and you say that